What if the one thing Claire feared most was not losing Jamie, but losing her daughter to time itself? Hook, what if the one thing Claire feared most was not losing Jamie, but losing her daughter to time itself? Section 1. The Calm. Before the storm, the wind moves softly across the Scottish Highlands. Morning mist rolls over the hills like a quiet warning. For a brief moment, everything feels still, peaceful, safe, but Claire knows better than to trust calm days like this. She has lived long enough and traveled far enough through time to understand that silence often comes before chaos. As she stands outside Fraser's Ridge, her eyes scan the horizon, not looking for beauty, but for signs. Signs that history is about to shift again. Inside the cabin, the fire burns low. Julia watches her mother from across the room. There's something different about her lately, something distant. Claire feels it too. A quiet change in the air, like the pull of the stones calling from far away. Julia has always been strong, curious and brave, but now there is a restlessness in her, a feeling that she does not fully belong to this time, and Claire cannot ignore the fear rising in her chest. She has seen this before, the pull of destiny, the weight of bloodlines, the dangerous gift of knowing too much. Jamie senses Claire's worry even before she speaks. He steps close, placing a steady hand over hers. His presence has always grounded her, even when centuries tried to tear them apart. Yet even Jamie cannot fight what they do not understand. Rumors are spreading through the colonies. War feels closer than ever. Old enemies are whispering in the dark. And somewhere beyond the trees, the future waits. Watching. Claire closes her eyes for a moment and listens, not to the wind, not to the birds, but to memory. She remembers the stones, the sound they made the first time she touched them, the fear, the pain, the miracle. She crossed time for love. She survived war, loss, and heartbreak, but this time feels different. This time it is not her life hanging in the balance. It is Julia's, and deep in her heart, Claire feels something she has not felt in years, the sense that time is moving again. Section 2. Rising tension and the threat revealed. The peace does not last long. By nightfall, the air feels heavier. The forest is no longer calm. Dogs bark in the distance. Horses grow restless. Even the wind sounds different, sharper, colder. Claire stands near the window, watching shadows move between the trees. She cannot explain it, but she feels it deep inside her bones. Something or someone is coming. Earlier that day, a rider arrived at the ridge carrying troubling news. Tension between the colonies and the crown is rising fast. Soldiers have been seen nearby, homes burned, families questioned, names written down in secret lists. Jamie listens carefully, his jaw tight, his mind already preparing for what must be done. He has faced war before. He knows the signs. And these are the same signs that once led to bloodshed. But it is not only war that worries Claire. There are whispers about a girl who does not belong, a girl asking strange questions about the future. Julia. Claire's heart drops when she hears this. She had warned Julia to be careful, to stay quiet, to never speak about things she should not know. But Julia has her mother's fire, her curiosity, and perhaps even her gift. Earlier that week, Julia wandered farther than usual. When she returned, she seemed shaken, silent, as if she had heard something calling her name from deep within the hills. That night, Julia finally speaks. She tells Claire she felt the stones, not just heard about them, felt them, a vibration. Under her skin, a sound like humming, a pull that made her chest ache. Claire's breath catches. She knows that feeling too well. The stones do not call to everyone, only to those who carry something rare in their blood. Jamie steps forward, protective as ever. He does not fully understand the mystery of the stones, but he knows danger when he sees it. And now, danger has a target. Outside, a branch snaps. Claire turns toward the sound. Her pulse races. In the darkness beyond the ridge, unseen eyes are watching. And whoever they are, they already know about Julia. The past is closing in, and this time, it may not be Claire they want. The fire inside the cabin burns brighter, but it does nothing to warm the fear settling between them. Claire stands near the table, her hands pressed against the wood as if she needs something solid to hold her steady. Julia faces her, eyes filled with confusion but also determination. She is no longer a child, and tonight that truth feels sharper than ever. You knew, Julia says softly. You knew this could happen to me. Claire does not answer right away. How can she? Every choice she ever made was meant to protect her family. Crossing time, changing history, staying when she should have left, leaving when she wanted to stay, all of it was for love. But love has consequences. And now those consequences stand right in front of her. I hoped it wouldn't, Claire finally whispers. I prayed you would never feel the stones. Julia steps closer. But I did. And it wasn't fear, Mother. It felt like purpose. Those words hit Claire harder than any weapon. Purpose. That was the same word she once used to describe her own journey. The same feeling that pulled her through centuries and into Jamie's arms. But Claire knows the truth behind that feeling. The pain, the loss. The endless goodbyes. Jamie watches the exchange quietly, his heart torn between them. He sees Claire's fear, but he also sees the strength in Julia's eyes. Strength that reminds him of both her parents. He moves forward, placing himself between them, not to separate, but to protect. No one is taking you anywhere, Jamie says firmly. Not while I stand. But Julia's voice shakes as she responds. What if I meant to go? Silence fills the room. Even the fire seems to quiet. Claire walks toward her daughter, lifting a trembling hand to Julia's face. You don't understand what you're asking. The stones don't just open doors. They tear them apart. Once you step through, nothing is simple again. Tears form in Julia's eyes, but she does not look away. You stepped through, Claire's breath catches. Yes, she did, for love, for destiny. For something bigger than herself, but sending her daughter into that same storm. That is a choice Claire may not survive. Outside, thunder rolls across the sky. And inside the cabin, a mother faces the hardest truth of all. She cannot control time, and she may not be able to control her daughter's fate. Section 4, Explosive. Climax and final hook. The storm breaks before dawn. Rain crashes against the roof of the cabin. Thunder shakes the walls. Claire wakes to the sound of shouting outside. She rushes to the door and freezes. Red-coated soldiers ride into the ridge, their torches cutting through the darkness like fire in the night. Horses scream, children cry. Men grab weapons. Chaos spreads in seconds. Jamie is already moving, giving orders, his voice strong over the roar of the storm. He pulls Claire close for just a second. One look passes between them, the kind that speaks of love, fear, and the unspoken truth. That everything is about to change. Inside the cabin, Julia stands still, too still. Claire feels it before she sees it. That same vibration, that same low hum in the air. It is faint at first, almost hidden under the sound of thunder. But it grows stronger, the stones. Even from this distance, they are calling, no. Claire whispers. Another crash of thunder shakes the ground. Outside, a gunshot fires. Smoke fills the air. A soldier shouts Julia's name. They know, somehow they know. Jamie blocks the doorway as two soldiers approach. Steel clashes. The fight is quick and brutal. Claire grabs Julia's arm, pulling her back. But Julia is staring past her, toward the hills. I can hear them, Julia says, her voice calm in the middle of chaos. They're louder now. Claire's heart pounds so hard she can barely breathe. This is the moment she feared. The moment she tried to prevent. The pull of destiny is stronger than fear, stronger than reason. The cabin door bursts open. More soldiers rush forward. Jamie shouts Claire's name. Everything slows. Julia pulls free from her mother's grasp. Not in anger, not in rebellion, but in understanding. Tears stream down Claire's face as she reaches out. Don't go, she cries, but the ground trembles again. A flash of lightning lights the sky. For a split second, the outline of the standing stones appears on the hill, glowing faintly through the storm. Julia looks back one last time. I'm not running from it, she says softly. I'm running toward it. Some journeys begin where others end. Outlander Season 8, Episode 1, Claire and Julia, the final chapter, begins now.